All right. Aloha kakahiaka, everybody, on today, June 10th, 2022. It's Kamehameha Day. And I want to welcome you all to the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. If you're listening to this on a pre-recorded basis, you may want to go back, go forward about 5 minutes, because we're going to have the pregame show here where we warm up our microphones and get everything going, and then we say hello to our friends who are with us. And we got a bunch of people who have jumped on already. Jim is back. Jim, where were you? Uncle Jim is back. Aloha, Jim. Good to see you again, buddy. It's been a while. And Auntie Joyce is of course with us. Another wonderful day in the neighborhood with all of you. Well, you're the one. You're the one that makes it awesome, Auntie Joyce. If you weren't here, you and people like you, we wouldn't be doing it. And Chris is back. Chris Longley, aloha kakahiaka. Welcome back, Chris. Can I start to take some kind of credit for getting people to say aloha kakahiaka? I'm gonna take a little bit of credit on that one, just a little bit. Anyway, let's say hello. Let's warm up our mic. Let's go counterclockwise. Let's go Scott, Heidi, and then Dylan. Scott, what's going on, man? We're missing where's the amazing background? The coconut trees are missing.
Yeah, I thought about superimposing it in the back, but they just don't sway the same. So, yeah, I'm coming to you from a new location. I'd mentioned it last show. So, this is actually the back house on one of the last development project that I did, and I bought my business partner out. So, I'm keeping it more for long term, and I moved into the back so I could kind of tweak it out. And so, I'm still getting settled in. I'm hoping this isn't going to be the final resting spot. Hopefully, I can find something outside. But I found this and kind of sorting through everything and getting situated. I found this. This is a Nanny Goose Aloha shirt, and it's interesting when Nanny Goose they're kind of considered I think it's kind of a rare bird and whatnot. But when I bought the lot on Volcano in the Big Island, right on the golf course I was going to develop it, I was out there playing golf one day and I walked on the neighbor's property because mine was pretty overgrown, and there were probably 20. I think I counted 28 Nanny Goose on that property at one time. I was blown away at the number of nanny goose all in one spot at one time. It was pretty cool.
What a great story behind, how many times do you get to wear an Aloha shirt that tells a story of an actual experience that you had? That's really cool, Scott. We got some more friends with us. Corey Sr. is back with us. Welcome back, Corey. Good to see you. Richard Pence, hope I pronounced that correctly. Richard, Aloha from Queens, New York City. Welcome. And Chris, I can take all the credit. All right, cool. I will take, not for starting, for just kind of revitalizing it. Heidi, what's going on? Heidi, what's the coffee? What's the day? How's Maui?
Oh, it's great to be back. It's a gorgeous day on Maui. I'm sitting inside though, so you don't hear the wind in the background, but super excited to get outside after the show. The coffee I've really been loving lately, it's called Maui Triple X, and it's Kanapali Estate coffee and a mix with the dark roast, and it's just I think what I like about it, it's really low acidity, so it's easy drinking, but it's still super flavorful, and it kind of tastes like chocolate a little bit, but it's not flavored. So that's been my favorite coffee this week.
I wish there was a way, honey, that we could trade coffee beans, because it would be fun to kind of give a different, to give, like, Heidi's perspective on the bean and Peter's perspective on the bean. That would be kind of fun. Neil is joining us. Neil, welcome. Neil is a member of the Islander Ohana and currently going through our cohort. We have a cohort conference tomorrow that I'm looking forward to. We're going to have some good topics to discuss. And Michelle Cook is from Makaha Valley. Welcome, Michelle. We are glad to have you here with us, and I hope you enjoy the stuff that we got to present. And Patrick is back. Aloha from Germany. Welcome. Patrick is, I think, so. Um, there's God, the guy Richard. Is it Richard? Who's the guy? There's a person who joins us from the UK. And I'm sure he's going to be on soon. And Patrick you're a little bit further out there, so it's kind of cool. Dwayne is back. Welcome back, Dwayne. Excellent. The whole Ohana is coming back, right? Patrick is back. Patrick's from the Big Apple today. I was going to say Big Island, no, Big Apple today while on a business trip. Beautiful day in Manhattan, but I'm sure not as beautiful there as in Paradise. Patrick, beauty is everywhere. We're going to give everyone the credit. There is beauty everywhere in the world, but Hawaii is more beautiful than Manhattan. Let's go to Dylan. What's going on? How's the Big On? Give us a mic check.
I think it's Thomas from the UK, right? If I recall
Tom, yes,
correctly.
yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I believe you are correct, Thomas. Yes, good.
And then
Thank you.
this coffee discussion just made me spark the business idea. You know how there's like bourbon clubs and wine clubs, so they'll ship you monthly a different type of bourbon or whatever. I wonder if there is something out there for coffee. There must
Oh,
be, right? I
Garen's
mean,
ball
yeah,
bearings, Garen's,
yeah,
Garen's,
yeah.
Garen's. Yeah.
Maybe we could get that
Now we,
started.
maybe we can get like one of those coffee people that are like looking at the show that could sponsor and kind of send us the coffee of the week, and that would be kind of cool. I would enjoy that. I would plug that. Anyway, Dylan, what's going on the Big Island?
Just a beautiful day over here. It was rainy and ugly the last couple of days, but nice sun's out, and I got a photo shoot after this, so that's a good thing. Kids are off from school, right? So kids are home. The roads are pretty clear in the morning, so that's nice, and it's good to be back. I was on Oahu last week, and too much concrete for me over there, so it's good to be back on the Big Island.
A little too
But
much.
always enjoy a meal with Peter K at Zippy's, so that makes it
Liliha
worthwhile.
Bakery. Liliha Bakery. Oh no, wait. We went to
Yeah,
Liliha Bakery, but the line was too damn long. And so we
yes,
went to Zippy's right next door. Thank you. That is
yes.
correct. These are good. Can't go wrong with Zippy's. We have a few more friends who are joining us. Patrick is moving to Oahu in September, working with Scott. Awesome sauce. Terrific. Glad that Scott was a part of that, helping you make that happen. Colleen Gordon from New York. Welcome, Colleen. Great to see you. Good first. I believe you're certainly first time commenter as far as my memory goes. Bernard, welcome back, buddy. Bernard Ung is back. Welcome aloha from New Jersey. Bernard's been working with Scott. That's totally awesome. Good to see you guys. And Paul, Paul Lucas, disagree. The only beautiful thing about New York City is the sign saying you are leaving city limits. Okay, well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think Central Park's a pretty cool place. I've been there for a long time. Mark Whitehill, Mark is back. Hey, Mark, welcome, buddy. Mark is an alumni of the Island of Ohana. Mark, didn't you guys celebrate your 1 year anniversary in Hawaii? I believe so. Would you comment back on this so we know? Great coffee club idea. Always marketing. I'm telling you, man. Dylan's the idea entrepreneur guy. Sponsored by Living in Hawaii. Auntie Joyce, living in Hawaii. That's a really good idea. We want to get a coffee sponsor us so that I can sponsor them. That'd be amazing. I'd love to do that. I can't pronounce that, but Barbara, welcome. Welcome back, Barbara. I believe you're back. I believe that name looks familiar to me. Welcome, Barbara. Welcome back. Oh, gosh, it's 9:02. Saying hello to everybody and getting all excited. This is great. Everyone's back with us. It's great to all see you. Let's get started here. We're going to flip into some news. Let's see here what we got. Okay, so a couple things to kind of share. Today is Kamehameha Day. For those that don't know, today I believe Kamehameha Day is actually tomorrow, but today it is celebrated with a state holiday. So whoever observes state holidays are closed today. Big, cool, fun parade. I think it was discontinued for COVID for a couple of years. This is the first year it's going to be back. If you are in the islands. And you have not gone to a Kamehameha Day parade, I would definitely say it is a must do. It's a most cultural event. It's lots of flowers and horses and marches. It's really, really fun. So that's kind of neat. And Mark, yeah, okay, 1 year, June 2nd, still happy. Best thing we ever did. Glad you did it, buddy. I'm sure. So that was that. So the other thing, the other kind of news is about market cooling. There's a bunch of articles I'm going to want to hear from Scott and from Heidi and from Dylan about market cooling. There's a bunch of articles. For example, let's see, there's a couple of things here. Now, not that the market's crashing, mind you, but it's cooling. So prices are still higher than last year, but I guess they're not as much higher as they would have been if the curve was continuing. So it'll be kind of interesting to kind of hear about that. And if you've been with us for the past few shows, we've been talking about this short-term vacation rental new law that's gone into effect on the island of Oahu, which made the minimum short-term vacation rental to be 90 days. And that's been somewhat controversial, but now there's a lawsuit that's coming up about that. The people who are suing are saying that it is taking away their property rights, so therefore it is unconstitutional. It's not following due process. Scott, I don't know if you know anything about that, but I'd like to kind of hear what you got to say about that. And there was another article, and I think I kind of wanted to bring it up because I think it really tells a story of Hawaii. The article was that we're 48th out of 50 in economic activity. It had a variety of measurements according to economic health, innovation potential, and activity, and we're like at the bottom of the barrel for pretty much all of those things. And gang, that's because we love Hawaii, but Hawaii's not the place you go for economic activity. It's a lifestyle. It's a qualitative life. It's not a quantitative life. That's the way I kind of say it. And There's some stories there about no COVID mandates so far. There's all kinds of stories going on about COVID rates up and down and up and down, but it looks like we're going to stay clear. So far so good about what's going on, and I think that's the basic news. Let's zoom in here a little bit to show you the weather. Of course, is going to be perfect as we're going into summer now. The weather just becomes like amazing, and it's getting beautiful days. Despite some bad days on Kona. So that's that for today. Let's say hello to a few more friends who have kind of chimed in with us over here. So Norm is back. Welcome back, Norm. Aloha all. We're back on the Big Island. Okay, so Norm, hanging out on the Big Island, also a member of the Islander Ohana. Hope to see you this Saturday. We've got a really cool discussion that's coming up on this Saturday's event with the Islander Conference. And Auntie Joyce highly recommends the Kamehameha Day Parade. Excellent. All right, great. So let's do this. Let's kind of go clockwise now. Dylan, and then Heidi, and then Scott. Give us. There's a little bit of cooling. If you want to comment on that at all, Mark. We talked about that a little bit, I believe, the last time that you were here. But give us any updates, any newsworthy stuff on the Big Island that's kind of happening that you want to share. Anything about the market? Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, it's definitely changing. There's definitely a shift going on. I don't know if it's cooling or what's going on, but there's more homes on the market than there has been in a very, very long time. There's 522 homes on the market on the Big Island. We haven't been above 500 in a while, and we crept up to 1,657 active listings. So that number has been like under 1,600 for a really long time, and got all the way down to 1,300 at one point. So things are shifting. We're still seeing very aggressive pricing on seller behalfs, and buyers are becoming more cautious with the higher interest rates. Their buying power has gone down. So it's some interesting stuff going on in the market, but for the most part, still strong. I mean, it's going to be a very, very long time until we get back to normal levels of inventory, like 3,000 properties on the market. We're still like 50% where it normally is. So, going forward, we'll see. But I'm not seeing any type of dramatic downward shift. It's more of a cooling off is probably the best way to put it, a plateau potentially. So
yeah, that's the sense I got from at least the articles where it's cooling off. The curve is starting to kind of bend a little bit. It's not quite so steep. Heidi, what's anything else, Dylan, that you want to share? A Big Island news? Anything?
That's the short story.
Good, thank you. Yep. Heidi, what's going on in Maui? Give us the update. Give us some interesting news. Give us whatever you want to share.
Sure. Well, real estate wise, I mean, the market is definitely shifting a little bit. Shifting towards a more balanced market, which is actually a good thing, and it's good for buyers. It's still a very robust market, but the rate of appreciation has slowed down. The kind of real intense frenzy has slowed down a little bit. But I mean, it's still very strong. Like the big difference between this year and last year at this time is the number of properties closing is a lot less. The number of properties going under contract is a lot less. But I mean, overall, I think it's going to be a good thing. I mean, we're seeing more price reductions if sellers have overshot their prices, but we're not really seeing any signs of prices going down. And the amount of properties on the market is still very, very low. I mean, compared to any historic levels. So anyway, that's where we are right now.
So same kind of thing on your end. Yeah. Thanks, Heidi. Scott, what's going on? What's up? What's going on with Oahu? What's going on with you? What's going on with the market?
Yeah. I mean, this is a time where I start to take a long look and a deep look at a lot of different areas because the market is shifting a little bit. And what does that mean and what's coming down the pipe? The funny thing is Oahu just had this month we had record price appreciation or record prices for single family home and condos. So the market's still going up. Don't think that it's coming down. But we are starting to moderate. I got a new word for you today. Instead of decelerate, which is still a good word, moderate is what we're starting to do on the single family home side, not on the condo side. So we've had 4 months of fewer sales than last year. Fewer sales by how much? 5%. It's not earth shattering by any means. The months of inventory remaining is slightly moved up. So Dylan mentioned 500 and something active homes on the Big Island. Well, we've got 527 where we were at like 400 a couple of months ago. So we're nowhere near to being able to give buyers any kind of advantage, where it's still a seller's market and it's going to continue to be, but we're going to start to decelerate. And one of the things that's really important for people to understand is we can look at market stats and you can start to see the rate of price appreciation slowing down. But there's a hidden cost that people don't see, that don't show up in the market stats, and that's what interest rates are doing. And I mentioned it last time, we're in an inflationary period, so as interest rates go up, you don't see it on the market stats. Where you will see it is its effect in that appreciation rate. It will start to sit on that, so it'll start to decelerate that the rate of appreciation. But we've also been appreciating at 20% per year, which is not sustainable. So yeah, we're going to start to normalize, but it may take 2 years. I expect us to have double-digit price appreciation in single-family homes this year. Next year, single-digit price appreciation. So by no means are we going in the opposite direction. And if interest rates keep going, it's going to cost the consumer more. The interesting thing is the condo side. We're up 13% in price on condos now. We're up 13% in number of sales. So that shift, like I was talking about, is moving to the condo side. And there's 30% less listings available for condos now than there were a year ago. So the shift is happening in that direction, and it's gonna condos are gonna still be hot here. So that's kind of the summary here. Deceleration on the home front. We've had a hell of a run, and it's going to shift now to the more affordable condo option.
Interesting. So yeah, what I'm hearing you say is that a couple things is what you moderate. It's an interesting word here. It's moderating the market, and so it's not as sky high as it is, but that because of interest rates, etc., is that the it's going to shift to buying is going to be the activity is going to shift into the condo market, because that's kind of where the lower prices are. So it's going to be a very interesting kind of things to see how that all flies. Thanks. Great observation, everyone. Hey, folks, listen, we've got we got a bunch of slides, got a bunch of like pre-canned questions that you've already submitted through the form. But those of you that are here get the priority. The live audience gets priority. If you got any questions, pop them in the comments now, so we can kind of throw them up there and have a discussion about them. Make sure you let us know what that is. We're gonna move on. So hey, listen, if you how did you get here? Did you get here through my newsletter? The newsletter has the invites and the links to the Facebook and the YouTube channels. If you didn't get here through the newsletter, it means you're not on the newsletter. Get on it. livinginhawaii.com. Go over there. A thing will, a dialog box will pop up. Pop in your email address so that you get the invites. We have this show every other week, and of course, we have all kinds of other content. I'm going through a series right now on YouTube about the retirement home. I excerpted with some great discussions with the team here last time about retiring in Hawaii. I put that all together into a video series. That's what's going on now, and of course, articles and things of that nature. All right, gang. So no questions going on here right now. Let's get into this. This has been a topic that I've had for a long time in the queue. And Heidi kept reminding me to kind of bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up now. So I think it's kind of irrelevant. So, Scott, this kind of ties into the vacation rental laws that are going on Oahu. It also goes into there's a lot of laws moving in Maui to control or limit vacation rentals. I know there's all kinds of stuff kind of happening on the Big Island as well. There's a lot of movement going on with vacation rentals and regulations and increasing taxes and things of that nature. It's been all over the place. COVID started all that. So there's this new thing, and I kind of wanted to get your folks a take on this, which is this. There's this idea called co-ownership. I don't know precisely what it is, but my understanding about it is that it's not like it's like a timeshare, but it's not. It's like you have a legal structure where several people own a home. So you co-own a home instead of one person owning that home. Several people own that home. It's like timeshare, but it's not timeshare. And there's a concern here that first was brought up on Maui that this co-ownership may skip short-term vacation rental laws because you're an owner. You're not a vacationer. You're an owner, but your slice of this house may be less than 30 days. And apparently, there are these co-ownership, these co-owned homes are coming up in luxury neighborhoods, and of course, luxury neighborhoods. They were people who bought these homes and luxury neighborhoods bought them because they wanted a luxury home in a big private gated community. They didn't want to be near a visitor destination. They didn't want to be near a resort place. But now what's happening is that some of these co-owned homes, these co-ownership homes are becoming like vacation rentals. So they're becoming like resorts. So there's all kinds of touristy things and people don't like that. So that's the background. That's the setup. Why don't we go to Heidi first, and then Scott, and then Dylan? Uh, if you caught anything about this co-ownership thing, do you see this going anywhere? Is there kind of some potential problems that you see? Heidi, what's your take on this?
Well, I see Picasso is shared ownership of luxury homes, and I kind of see it as an outgrowth just in general of the sharing economy, and I can see how this can be very attractive for people that are looking to own that $5 million house but only want to spend 1 million. Co-ownership of homes and properties, I mean, that's been going on for a long time, but I think what's different about Picasso is they're one company that's managing it and organizing it and marketing it this way, which makes it a little bit different. And there's concerns on a couple different sides. I mean, their entree into the Maui market comes at a very politically sensitive time when prices of housing is very high. I mean, the county would like to increase affordable housing. And also, if you watched our show about property taxes, I mean, property tax structure on Maui is designed to tax the highest rates to timeshare and short-term rentals. And we have very low tax rates for full-time residents and other types of properties. So like with the Picasso model, they'd be paying less property tax than maybe a short-term rental or timeshare. So that could perhaps be issue. But the other issue is for, as Peter mentioned, it's for the people actually living in these communities that they don't want people constantly coming and going. And for new owners thinking of buying in a community and existing owners in a community, if there's an HOA, they're trying to change their bylaws and figure out how to prevent this kind of thing. I mean, my opinion is if Picasso tried to do this in an area that allowed vacation rentals, they'd be met maybe more welcome than in a residential condominium area. So I don't know. I could go on about this, but
Well, I think I'm gonna give Dylan the cue to talk about one of his favorite topics of unintended consequences. So we may see one of those. But Scott, why don't you? It's been going on. Heidi mentioned it's been going on for a while. This co-ownership idea. Do you have anything? Might this be something that's going to kind of erupt on Oahu, especially with this 90-day short-term vacation rental thing? What's your take?
I'm not that impressed with it. I mean, it's fractional ownership is effectively what it was called 10, 12 years ago, never took off. And there's a whole host of reasons. So what Picasso's doing is you can have a maximum of 8 owners owning the property, and they put it into an LLC. So you own a portion of that LLC, whether you own 1/8 or you purchase 2 portions of it. So then you're dividing up the usage time basically by that. And Picasso can manage it, and you can set dates that you come and visit. It's not going to skirt the short-term vacation rental laws, because if you go, these are homeowners that own it, so that's not a short-term vacation rental if you own it, right? So forget that. They would have to put it on, advertise it in some kind of way for it to become a short-term vacation rental, and then city and county will come down on them at that point. And I know there's been a concern for people buying up inventory. Well, hey, if you get 5 or if you get 8 people buying one home rather than 8 people buying 8 homes, guess what? They're leaving inventory for other people. So hey, have at it.
That's a benefit, right?
You're shrinking the buyer pool. The biggest reason I don't see this taken off, and it hasn't before, first of all, it's an LLC, so financing components for it get to be complex. They're not easy. You're 1/8 owner, let's call it, and then okay, does everybody agree? You have to vote on things as a group. Do you really want to do that, right? Hey, I don't like the decor. It's looking a little run down. Let's change it. Now you got to get 8 people to all agree. And then if you want to go and sell it, okay, now you've got a real challenge on your hand, because now you're putting it on the market. Yes, it looks attractive on the price, but somebody knows they're buying this thing, a portion of this thing, usage time, to come in with a group of people. And I looked online, there is one fractional in Hawaii Kai right now that's on the market for 400 and some thousand. It's a condo. We're condo market right now, days on market is average is 10 days. This thing's been on the market over 200 days. So what's your buyer demand for something like that? So
Looks pretty low. And you know, it's funny what you said that, Scott, because Paul had
yeah.
popped this on the comments right before you, tongue in cheek. Of course, luckily co-owners that property always get along, always agree on renovations, always want to sell at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point.
So
Interesting.
I don't see it taking off because of the complexity of something like that, especially when you don't know each other and you're 8 owners having to navigate through something. I mean, every one of my LLCs that I put together for the developments, and I have people come in and give me money, my LLC says I control everything, nobody has a say. And there's a reason for it because I need that thing to go smooth and I need to be the decision maker in it.
You
So
can't have eight deciders. Could you imagine that, Scott? If you had to deal with eight, oh my God, it's a pain as it is. Hey, I just want to kind of give a quick shout to Colleen and to Norm and now to Andre. Got your questions? We'll be popping them up shortly. I want to get through this topic here with Dylan. What's your give me your unintended consequence or whatever comes to your mind about this topic, Dylan?
Well, the first thing I'd like to, context-wise mention is this is not a new concept, especially in Hawaii. In Hawaii, we have a term called hui, right? It means like group. And that's been a business kind of strategy, a land ownership strategy for a long time. And it's people coming together into a group and doing something together. So it's not necessarily a foreign idea. It's definitely a new and innovative idea. And let's not forget who's behind this, right? Spencer Ranscroft is the founder of Picasa, and he was the CEO of Zillow for many, many years and an executive at Zillow for many, many years. And so these aren't stupid people, right? I mean, these people know the real estate market. They're disruptors in the real estate market. They're very smart people involved in this. And so but that's not to say that everything Zillow and, these different disruptors have done has been successful. I mean, they failed many times too. You always forget about the failures and you see the successes, but I somewhat disagree. I think there is buyer demand for it. I've been in contact with many people who they haven't started on the Big Island yet, but they're asking me about it and say, "Well, do you know when this is coming? It's something we're interested in," because there are people who want, a $5 million vacation home for $1 million, and they're doing that anyway, right? They're coming here and doing Airbnbs for a month or two and paying for a month or two of ownership to use a property, and they see the value in having some equity in it long term and having more control. So I think definitely there's, it's interesting times to come, but in the, like Heidi said, the sharing economy that we're in, right? People are okay with sharing cars and sharing rooms in their homes. I mean, it's maybe a cultural thing with the younger generations where this becomes it's more efficient, right? It's more efficient to own a part of something and get to benefit from its maximum value when you're not going to use it all the time. I mean, I think about that all the time, like how much wasted money we have in clothes and things that we have around our house that we use once a month, once every other month. I mean, there's tons and tons of those examples. And one of the unintended consequences here, right, is these people that live in these luxury neighborhoods. If you try and put in CCNRs and rules that limit who can come and go and how many people you can have, what does that mean for your own house, right? Can you not have friends over every month now? Can you not rent it out to you let your kids stay there in the guest home different times of the year? You're going to create a war. When you create rules, you create a war amongst the rules. And it's one of those attitudes where, I have my house and I don't want anything to change. But I want to be able to do whatever I want to do at my house, but I don't want you to be able to do whatever you want to do at your house. And so we're going to try and implement rules. And I can just see that turning into an enormous mess because, you just imagine how that goes. So
it's going to be interesting to kind of see where this goes. This is, I think, as Heidi said, it is I believe a reflection of the sort of the sharing economy. Scott's points are also good too. I mean, and the numbers speak for themselves. 200 days on the market versus 10. That tells you something. But yet these people are they're Zillow execs, so they're not stupid. They know the market. So
and think about it's just another vehicle. There's been real estate investment trusts for many, many years. That's been a real estate investment vehicle and tool for many, many years, which is just basically people putting money into a trust that buys real estate and lets it appreciate, or buys commercial property and draws dividends off of it. So it's just another foray into that. It's the next step in those types of ideas. Yeah. And I don't know, Peter, if you remember, we talked about this years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when kind of blockchain became a big thing, because And everybody says, well, I had this idea before it became a thing, right? But I literally,
Yep.
like, I had this idea about, there was a big piece of property, like a 200-acre piece of
I
property.
remember.
And I had a bunch of friends, and we were like, man, we need to figure out a vehicle where we can all put in 50 grand and buy this thing, because we're not going to use the 200 acres up in the mountain every day. We could come up with an agreement, and you do a drawing for who uses it on what weekends and what long weekends, and you could figure this thing out where you'd have access to hunting land and places to ride your horses and your four-wheeler, and we could all be basically a large ranch owner, but not have to own the entire ranch or the entire ownership of the ranch, because it's not affordable to most folks that would be interested in that. So anyway, I think it's a very interesting idea. I'd like to see it more for things like vehicles like that, like buying beach property, or stuff to preserve that local families can have, that they wouldn't normally be able to afford but could have access to and be able to preserve into the long term.
Thank you, Dylan, for reminding me about that. That was a very fun time. I mean, so gang, what the discussion was.
I went down a deep rabbit hole. I had documents written up and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Well, so I didn't go quite down, well, because I went down the technical rabbit hole, right? Because I was when Dylan mentioned that, I thought, oh man, you could use blockchain technology, the technology that powers Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You could create a blockchain where people could buy a piece of that property for like, $100, buy $100 worth. You wouldn't have to put in $500,000 worth, or a big number. You could put in a teeny tiny number and still own, 1/1000th, 1/1,000,000th of the property. But anyway, that was
and if you think about it, that could be an awesome vehicle for preservation of important property, community gardens, because we always rely on the government to go and like buy open space and stuff, and we want the government to spend the money. But what if there's 1,000 citizens that want to get together and spend a couple $1,000 and buy a piece of property to do a community benefit program or something like that, or buy it for the Humane Society, right, to have a facility on. I mean, there's lots of ideas where you could come up with stuff that would be beneficial, and you don't have to rely on the county who's going to buy it and then neglect it, and it's going to become an eyesore.
Right. So, Scott, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing that on the Big Island with where you can pay, it's like a certain amount of money, and you can buy, basically you're buying a koa tree and they're planting it on lands to try to basically replenish the koa tree and do it in a sustainable way. I know they're doing that already. The one way I see this concept being able to take legs is the fact that who's behind it, big money, reputation. So there's a comfort factor that a bigger company gets involved in this, and you can have some of that safety, that some of the complexities to this that would not be as appealing, where you can't control everything. You have to have some kind of say with other people. They could come in and bring the size and scale of that kind of company to smooth out some of that, and then I could see it definitely having some legs.
Gang, you're all watching the genesis of another startup idea right before your eyes. We're coming up with something. Hey, so I got a question for you all. So what do you folks think if there was a way for you to spend a small amount of money, and let's say $100 minimum, and with the $100 you would actually own a piece of property? So Scott, it's not quite like buying a koa tree, because you can't turn around and sell that koa tree later. So you'd actually buy a piece of land, and let's say it's preservation land or whatever, for $100, and that would be, you would get some kind of a title that you could then later sell that if it ever appreciated. It would, it obviously would appreciate that, what, $110 or $120, but it would be a piece of property that you would own. Is that something that you would what does that make you think about that? Go ahead, Scott.
It's called the cohort compound.
The cohort compound. The cohort compound. Love it. Oh yeah, the Islander Ohana cohort compound. Oh man. Okay. Whew. Wow. All right, you're seeing it. All right, we had a couple of questions that I want to cover. Great topic. Thank you all for participating. I think it's a great discussion as usual. Hope you're all enjoying these as much as I am. So let's kind of hit Colleen's question. Are there any medical coding, any jobs in medical coding in healthcare available on Oahu? Well, Colleen, here's what I got for you. I've got a link I'm going to pop in the comments for you right now. I partnered with ZipRecruiter, and on the website, if you go to Living in Hawaii, I put the link. It's going to pop in the description. It's going to pop in the comments in a second. Go to that, do that search, and that's the best way to kind of find, do that job search, and you'll find if there's jobs available of that kind. Typically speaking, though, I know what you mean by medical coding, but typically speaking, high skilled, high value jobs are typically easier to get in Hawaii than other types of jobs. However, getting a job in Hawaii is a whole other animal. We've made some videos on that, and I've actually got a article on the website, How to Get a Job in Hawaii. Scott gave us a great story a long time ago about his experience in getting his first job at one of the hotels. I remember that, Scott. Have not forgotten about it. Norm is saying, after staying on a farm in Papaikou, we found out how important a pest service is. Any idea of average cost of monthly service? Yeah, dude. Well, Papaikou, that is a very wet area. Lots of pests. Hope you had some enjoyable times over there. Dylan, any sense? Do you have any sense of kind of what a sort of a pest service maintenance thing might cost on the Big Island?
It's not expensive. I mean, $50 to $100 a month.
$200. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can buy like those home defense bottles at Home Depot, and you can spray them around the edge of your property. What I tell people is, unfortunately, you're gonna have to get over it because there's bugs in Hawaii.
Good.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I don't care what you do, but I mean, you can
Bugs
tent
in
your house,
Hawaii.
and literally next week there's going to be ants and cockroaches back hanging out. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it, man. So Norm, Norm is doing that. Norm is doing his on vacation, the simulation of living in Hawaii. So Norm, I hope that's insightful. Scott, go ahead.
The only way to avoid it is you got to be like above the 5th floor on a condominium complex. If you're a high-rise condominium complex, a lot of times you can avoid bugs
to a degree, but you're still going to get the flying ones.
Yeah.
Scott,
the good thing is we don't have any bad bugs. None of them, other than like centipedes, I mean, that bite you. I mean, there's really not that many that are harmful. So,
I did put a long time ago, we had a discussion about this, and I actually made a video about it on the channel. It's called I've got 5 bug stories, our favorite bug stories of Scott getting bit by a centipede and Dylan, you chasing after one in your bedroom, and me with big cockroaches. Scott, Heidi, folks want to add anything to Norm's question about a maintenance fee, about $50 to $100 a month?
I mean, at our condo association, a lot of times they'll hooey up with it. They come quarterly, and it's $20 if you jump in with that. I have it for the front house at $195 a quarter. A lot of times it's quarterly, but yeah, I will tell you, if you're in a condo and you choose not to, and the rest of the building does, guess where all those bugs are going to run when you don't participate.
Oh man, you just reminded me of my bachelor condo cockroach story, which I'm going to save for a moment. Heidi, anything you want to add to this topic?
Most condominiums on Maui that I'm aware of have some kind of quarterly pest control, and if you have a house here, you definitely want to have some kind of pest control. I don't mind seeing bugs as long as they're dead, which is usually after the pest control. And I would just recommend, don't leave any food in your car either. And I won't elaborate on that story.
Well, I'm going to elaborate on a story because I got to share this because it's just popping out of my head. So this was, I had just moved to Hawaii. I was in my early 20s, a bachelor living in a condo studio. And, this is back when I was, young and stupid, bad habits. And what I did was I didn't clean up after myself. I had a messy condo, and I didn't kind of do my dishes. Would let dishes in the sink for a while, and roaches started kind of showing up, and I didn't do any pest control, so I let that continue. And this went on for several months. And there came a time when you would come in and you come home at night, and I turned the lights on, and roaches would be running everywhere. And it got to a point where it was like, okay, I got to do something about this. So it was a small studio, so I got one of those bug killer things where it's a can. It's like a grenade. You kind of turn the can on, and it kind of keeps kind of spouting out. So I bought like 4 of those cans, put it on, got out of the condo, came back, 6 hours later, and I came back. There was not hundreds, thousands of roaches that were all over the place. I scooped it up. It was a shopping bag full of cockroaches, And that was when I learned why local folks are very clean, why you always wash those dishes. As Heidi said, clean up after yourself. Don't leave food anywhere, not in the car, right, Heidi? Don't leave food in the car. Don't leave food kind of hanging out. Always wash the stuff because you're going to have bugs everywhere. So I don't know if anyone wants to kind of jump in and share another bug story. All right, let's move on over here. Yeah, right. Let's see. So let's see who we got over here. Who's next? Let me kind of get. Pardon me for a minute. I'm gonna get back. I want to get these in order. Andre says, are there vagrancy laws when their quote their share of staying in the property is expired, but they don't have to evacuate the state because they can prove residency with identification? Andre, this is America. We don't have to prove. There's vagrancy laws per se, but there's no law that says you have to leave the state if you can't show that you have an address. United States of America, you can move to any state you want. You don't have to have permission, and you don't have to kind of show any sort of proof of anything. You just kind of hang out. Now, it's a problem, but there's nothing that says you have to leave the state if you can't prove that you have a residency. And Auntie Joyce, not in my neighborhood, thinking this is this vacation rental stuff, right? Some people don't want it. There's all kinds of issues about that. This vacation rental controversy has kind of brought that all up. But there is a ton of not in my neighborhood, or NIMBY, not in my backyard. A lot of that going on in Hawaii. Let's hit Bernard. What's the current state of electric vehicle adoption? Is it a big pain to set up and pay for setting up your own or HOA covered charge points in condo parking garages? Are the HOA rules strict on this? I think there's only one public Tesla supercharger on Oahu. Interesting question, Bernard. It'd be kind of fun to get some stats. I do believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe that Hawaii has the largest per capita of electric vehicles in the country, and for good reason, because of the sunshine. There's a lot of the sort of the Teslarati has solar panels on their homes, and they charge their cars. Condo wise, HOAs. Scott, why don't you comment on that? What's the story with sort of HOAs and condos and how that all works?
Yeah, on the older condos, you got to be, you kind of got to get into the condo docs, and sometimes we got to talk to people. So on the older buildings, sometimes they're not equipped for it or set up for it. How they have their electrical running from when they were built is not conducive for it, or they haven't upgraded to the point to where they can easily run it. But it's case by case basis on the older buildings. The newer buildings, they're all setting up for it, and typically what they're doing, they'll either have some charging stations, or quite a bit of them in the buildings, or you can pay the cost to run it to your parking stall, and once it's there, then you have the electric charging station. But the newer buildings in the 2000s to present are significantly easier, and within the house rules and things, they usually have guidelines for what's allowed and how to go about it.
Wow, thanks, Scott, for shedding the light on that. That would be quite a feature if you could run power to your stall. That would be amazing.
There's a ton already like that.
Really, really interesting. And along with that, there's I know one of the cars for sure. There's a new electric car from Hyundai, the GV60. I saw the promos on it. I haven't seen it mentioned, but regardless, there's features coming out now where cars can charge wirelessly. So you'll be able to put just a pad, and you just drive up to the pad in your stall, and your car starts charging. So Dylan, you don't even have to Dylan's got a Tesla Model 3. You want there's nothing even to plug in, just drive up, which is going to be amazing. Heidi, what's the status with condos? What's your understanding of condos, Maui, electric cars, etc.?
Well, we're definitely seeing more and more electric vehicles out here on Maui. And I have seen some condominiums, even older condominiums, where individual owners have been allowed to set up a charging station for their parking stall. So I know that happens. I mean, as far as the cost and timing of doing that, that would be something to look into by a case-by-case basis. I mean, there's also quite a few places publicly where you can go over to a resort area or beach parking and charge your car. And a lot of the newer homes are being set up for electric vehicles as well. So, I mean, I see that trend continuing.
That's a really good point. Bernard, one thing, although there may only be one Tesla supercharger station, there was a law that was made years ago. In fact, the guy that kind of drove it is a good friend of mine. But there's a law that states that any parking lot that has X amount of stalls. Now, I don't know if this is Oahu or statewide, but certainly on Oahu, any parking lot that has X, for every X amount of stalls, there has to be an electric charging station. So they're not Tesla supercharger stations, but there's charging stations almost at every mall, anything that's got a big parking lot's got a couple of charging stations. And I don't know what the law is these days on the airport. Airport parking used to be free for electric vehicles. It was causing problems because all the
Still is. It's the best. That's the best part. Is there's a big row of electric vehicle stalls at our airport. So
and you park for free. So Dylan, what's so fill us in on the Big Island scene. You got a Tesla Model 3. Fill us in on the electric vehicle scene on the Big Island.
So on the Big Island, our charging infrastructure is not very good. There are a few public charging stations like Target, and there's some up by the resorts. But for the most part, most of the people that I know that have an electric vehicle charge it at home. That's what I did. I had a charging station installed in my house. It was like $500 for an electrician to come in and do it, and it's sufficient. I mean, you get 30 to 35 miles an hour when you plug into it. So you just plug it in when you come home, and you always have a full charge the next morning. And you really only charge, 2 or 3 times a week maximum. If it depends on how much I'm driving. But my friends on Oahu that have Teslas and electric vehicles, there's enough. Even if their condo complex doesn't have a charging station, or you can't put one in, it's just a lifestyle change where you go to a grocery store that does have a charging station, and you plug in while you grocery shop, or you go out to dinner, and they just say that it's they can make it work. It's just you have to build that into your schedule where you may have to spend a few hours outside of your home charging your car, depending on where you go. So it's totally doable. There's tons of electric vehicles out here. And for me, it's like I did it on I got one for purely economical reasons, because I didn't like paying for gas. And now I feel smarter than ever. I got it in 2020, and now I feel like a genius, because people bitch about gas. I have no idea what the gas price is. I could care less. So
isn't it great, those wonderful genius moves where you get to look back on what you did, and it makes you feel like a genius today. It's like, I did the right thing with that one. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to kind of see I'm curious, Dylan, how I think the Big on more than any other place. Oahu, you could get away with not having a car. Maui, you can't get away with. Maui, you got to have a car. Big Island, for sure, you got to have a car. Big Island, I would say for sure well, you don't have a truck, Dylan. Well, you may have like a.
I do, yeah. I have a truck also. Yeah, and that's that used to be my daily driver. The Hemi Dodge, which doesn't make any sense when it comes to gas mileage. So I do have to fill that up like once a month, or whatever. That's our beach car. We take rubbish to the rubbish dump. But yeah, right. But it doesn't hurt that bad when you're doing it once in a while.
Well, what I was going to say is, it can be interesting to kind of see how the electric transition is going to happen on the Big Island as electric trucks come on the market, right? Because now you've got the Ford F-150, which has got electric. The Tesla is going to have their electric. So it's going to be interesting.
They're saying Cybertruck by the end of the year should be coming out.
Cybertruck by the end of the year. Yeah. So that's going to be really interesting how the culture is going to be taken up. So Bernard, I hope that answered your question. That was a nice in-depth conversation. Let me get through these real quick, and then we'll kind of switch to our switch to our diamonds and deals. Anthony Joyce says, I'm in, land is king, right? Anthony Joyce, you can spend $100 and jump in. Why not, right? Norm, sounds like a way to help more Hawaiians be able to own the land on their island. We're talking about this crazy idea that we came up with, having some kind of a way to spend $100 and own some piece of land over here, right? How would that be different from a REIT? Well, the way it would be different from a REIT. Now, I think Mark is talking about an earlier discussion about the REIT. These homes, these fractional homes are like REITs, but I believe REITs are more like investment vehicles. You really don't. You can buy in on a REIT.
You don't use the property.
You don't use the property. It's just like having a mutual fund. So it's different in that sense. Although this idea that we had, about putting in $10 and $100 and being able to kind of to invest, it would be similar to a REIT. It would be similar. Let's see what else we got over here. Andre, Navy water problems for real. It's a different kind of a problem, Andre. We had some previous shows. You can look at the archive. It's about a water flow, polluted water tanks. It's a little bit different, not quite that. Let's see. Here we go. So Norm says, yeah, ready for the bugs, but not for the tiny fire ants. Yep. Welcome to the club, man. Welcome to the club.
This is purely my theory, but I believe that if you have fire ants, you have less other bugs, because I think they kill the bugs.
Oh,
I've seen places that have fire ant problems. You don't see other ants. You don't see cockroaches, and I think it's because those ants attack the
Just
other
killing
bugs.
everything else. There's no other bugs for that.
Pokey frogs too. There's a lot less pokey frogs when you have fire ants. This just my observation. So there's always a benefit. I can always see a bright side.
Mother nature, right? You can't, nature is so incredibly complex. We think, but we don't really kind of think about the whole way through. There's all kinds of consequences, right? Unintended consequences. Jackie is with us. Aloha from beautiful Kapolei. Jackie is an alumni of the Island of Ohana and has the best background. Scott, actually, her background's better than yours. She has an amazing, she lives on the golf course, and the background's like stunning when she joins us. Alex called there's a company called Arrived Homes. Interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Instant kind of hear about that. So let's see. Jackie says I do quarterly. It's about $50 a quarter. Okay, so there's the bug price. Quarterly $50 a quarter. Initial startup fee with them too. Store everything in containers. Wash dishes. Right, Jackie? I was too stupid to learn that. I had to learn that one the hard way. Also, I agree. If you're only one not doing pest control, your apartment place is the one that they will come to. Yes. Auntie Joyce, the California condo allowed charge station in our condo, but the catch was that the power company wanted $10,000 to install. Probably cannot get your money back in time. Yeah, that is for sure. And Auntie Joan is with us. Joan is an alumni of the Island of Ohana. Happy Kamehameha Day. Welcome, Joyce. Welcome, Joan. It's great to see you. Excellent. All right. Let's see. I think that's about it for this time. So, gang, love your questions. Pop them in. Great discussions. Bernard, as you can see, that we got some great experts here to help us out with it. Let's do this. Let's move on to let's do our diamonds and deals. We got some properties that I've asked my friends to put forward. Their favorites, either diamonds or deals, or sometimes it's both. Let's see what's cooking for us. We have a Makiki condo, Scott, listed for $440K. What is it?
Yeah, two bedroom, 1 bath, high floor. As you can see, you got nice views looking right out on some of the construction going out in Kakaka, but you got some greenery, some trees and stuff in front of you, and an open park space. So you don't really have any big buildings around, so you get really great views and sunsets kind of all year round. But this one's $440,000. Right in Makiki, which is going to be in the Honolulu Metro Core, but on the Mauka side of the H1 freeway, or mountain side. So right behind it actually gets to be a lot more residential. So you have some streets you can walk. It's close to Punahou. But yeah, it's a great unit. As you can see in the upper right corner, there's the kitchen living room looking out to the view, and you have it's 770 square feet with 100 square foot lanai. So you got a decent sized lanai right off the front that you can utilize as well.
Scott, this seems like
deal.
Dare I say bargain? Yeah, this seems like a deal. It's
pretty good.
Nicely. You said it's a 2-bedroom condo.
2 bedroom, 1 bath. Yeah.
2-bedroom, 1 bath. Gang.
Fee simple with parking.
Fee simple. 2-bedroom, 1 bath with parking.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And Uncle Ray's with us. Good to see you again, Ray. Uncle Ray says aloha. Well, good to see you, Ray. Welcome back. Excellent. All right. Thanks, Scott, for that one. That's a deal. All right. What's up next? We got a 1-bedroom. This, again, I have to comment on this. What's so funny is we don't plan this out. They don't select them out in advance, but there's some fun synchronicities. Almost every single show has some interesting synchronicities between the properties that are being shown. So let's see here. So Dylan's got a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, Kona Bali Kai. Dylan, what is it?
Yeah, this is a vacation rentable condo it's actually, this condo's not on the water, it's on a back building. So that's what the complex looks like. It's in front of one of the best surf spots we have, Banyans, here on the Big Island. But nicely renovated condo, granite countertops, one of the lowest priced fee simple condos in Kona, and you can get the vacation rental permit, so it will produce income for you. So just thought this is a deal right now here in Kona. Is a good move in ready, turnkey, and it's turnkey also, so you don't have to furnish it or bring your suitcase if you want to live in it.
Wow, I bet you could do the back of the napkin spreadsheet on this one pretty quickly. You said it's a vacation rental. It's a legal vacation rental.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on the water,
and low HOAs under 500, I believe, like 40.
Oh my God.
Something. So not bad. Yeah.
So you got low HOAs. It's on the water. The unit itself doesn't face the water, but it's right. The property is right there, which makes it ideal. And it's a vacation rental. Would need a whole lot of math to figure out to make this profitable. Excellent. Love it. Very cool. I'm interested. No, no. I kid.
and,
Although,
and good price. We've sold them right in this price range real recently. So comps wise, I mean, they're not being crazy on price.
yeah. Well, Dry Side says that will sell in a few hours. Now, Dry Side, I think he's talking about Scott's unit, but this one too, man. And Mark seems to feel the same. Well, this hour went fast. Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Jackie says, Scott, what's the HOA on the Oahu one? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's 850. So
850.
yeah.
Jackie.
So it's
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott. Okay. Jackie, you know who to call. Give us a buzz. You could email a reply back to me, or I'll connect you with Scott. Get that one in there. It's a great place, great location. Although Jackie, you're living in Kapolei, so you're gonna go backwards, so it won't be that bad. You're gonna go against traffic, Jackie. So it won't be that bad if you have to commute. So it's still gonna suck. Okay. Let's see what's up next here. Let's look at our Maui property here. What do we got? Wait, wrong one. No, we got one. Oops. Oh, you know what, Heidi? I think you came in late. Not late, but came in after I started the slideshow. Give me a sec over here. Oh, technical details. Give me a sec, everybody. So let me kind of flip over to Heidi's property. Here we go. Give me a sec because we want to. So there's always a little bit of synchronicity, and then we always get like a breakout one over here, like Heidi's. All right, here we go. 71 Door of. You want to buy this just for the name itself alone. I want to live on Door of Faith Road. That's the road I want to live on. Door of Faith Road. Haiku Maui. Wow, 3.5 million. Heidi, what is this?
So this is a little bit different than the condos we just looked at.
Yeah.
4 acres here. There is a main home, which is 4 bedrooms, and that includes an attached ohana downstairs. There's 3 Bali-style bungalows, and you can see a picture on the right side there of one of the bedrooms. And then there's 2 pool suites and a big pool and gathering area. So really secluded, wonderful retreat. You can invite a whole bunch of friends, and 3.5 million on the North Shore of Maui. It's a one-of-a-kind property, and it's also being offered turnkey, furnished, move-in ready.
I think Dry Side said it right. Wow, that is an amazing property. As we cover up Scott's face on saying Dry Side, wow, that is all right. So this is home plus 3 bungalows plus 2 pool suites and a pool gathering area on 4 oceanfront acres. My God, that is remarkable. All right, gang. So here. What do you take? Do you take the 2-bedroom condo on Oahu for $440? Do you take the 1-bedroom vacation rental kind of suite on the water on the Big On, or do you go for the 70? I just love that name, 71 Door of Faith Road in Haiku Maui for 3.5 million. Which one is it, gang? What do you want? All right, great. I think we wrapped up everybody. I think we wrapped up everybody's questions and everyone's comments. So why don't we kind of do this? Let's move into our. Let's move over here. Dry Side says Big On condo. Well, Dry Side. That's a, it's something to be said about that. That's for darn sure. That's for darn sure. Auntie Joyce, lots of buggies in Maui, but I take it just for the pools and the view, man. That's me. Yeah, that place in Haiku. It looks kind of lush. So lush means bugs. Jim wants the Oahu condo. Jim, hurry up, man. For the win. That's right. Absolutely. Awesome. All right, gang. So look, we're going to wrap this up. Let's kind of get into our closing thoughts over here. Let's see what we got over here. Is what I've asked everyone to kind of close it out good. Today is Kamehameha Day. Again, we are recognizing Kamehameha Day. It's actually tomorrow, but we have a state holiday for today. So again, we're going to recognize that. And let's see what we got here. Dylan, set us up with this one.
Yeah, this is the Serenity Prayer. It's not something that most people know about, but it's something that I learned from my mom early in life, and it's brought me a lot of peace throughout my life. And just with everything going on, I shared this with my team this week because there's a lot of stuff going on, just in the economy, in the market, in life. And I think it's a good one to help just bring things into perspective and focus on. So it's grant me the serenity, accept the things I cannot change, the strength to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So real simple, but when stuff's going crazy, it's good to rely back on it.
It's always good to come back on these. I wonder how old the Serenity Prayer goes. That would be kind of fun to kind of do some research on that. I love those. Those are some classic ones. Yeah. Well said, Dylan. Well said. And especially in crazy times, I have to riff on this just for a minute with you, Dylan. A lot of times, people will. I have a couple of good friends who will, call me and say, "Man, did you see such and such this story about da 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 and all this kind of stuff?" And da da da, and they get all upset about it. And my question is, well, are you paid to take care of this issue? And they'll say, "Nope, not paid." Ain't your problem. Ain't your problem. Ain't your problem.
Or when people complain about stuff and I say, "Are you willing to go and work towards fixing it or put some money towards fixing it?" Nope. Then stop complaining about it.
Then stop complaining about it. Exactly. Right. Correct. Norm, you are very welcome. You are very welcome. And Jim Halverson, will a dry area like Hawaii Kai be a problem with bugs too? Well, different kinds of bugs. You can't get away from bugs in Hawaii, period. Can't get away from it. But lush areas, wet areas have more bugs. Dry areas have less bugs. Different kinds of bugs. Still going to have bugs. Still going to have cockroaches. Still going to have geckos. Can't get away from bugs. That's for darn sure, right? And Scott's nodding. Okay. What's next? Scott, you're up.
Experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first and then the lesson later. And I was thinking about this, and this is more of a shout out to the three of us on here. I mean, we all have significant experience in this industry. And I happened to see a couple of people post about having taken a course and gotten an online designation for the realtor status. And for me, I thought about it. I'm like, why do I not do that? I don't go down that path to getting the designations, and I sure as heck don't post about it. And the reality for me was, you cannot replace what you're either reading in a book or learning in a classroom with the actual experience of going through things. And for the three of us that are on here, why we're part of the reason we're on here is because we've been through so much. We can share it with you. But hey, we've gone through the hard, the experiences, and we figured out the lessons, so we know how to figure them out before they become a problem. I usually know when I'm putting buyer and seller together, I know where the issues are going to happen before they are, and I clear them up or cut them off before we get there. So you can't replace experience.
No, you cannot. That is so well said. It's those experiences. It's a great line though. Like, she gives the test first and the lesson later. Exactly. That's why everything you've got is lessons and gifts, right? There was another line I got on that same thing. Anything you get in life, it's either a lesson or a gift. That's all it is. And thank you, Auntie Joyce, for doing the internet research for us. Serenity Prayer by theologian Niebuhr. I'm gonna probably hack that one. 1933, first used and served in 1943. Love that.
Did not know that. That's awesome.
Thank you, Auntie Joyce, for doing that research. This is what I love about kind of having a group of people, right? Because people can kind of go and pop stuff on. This is like great sort of social networking live, which is really fun. Thank you so much, Auntie Joyce, for looking that up. I really appreciate that. Heidi, what's your thought for today?
The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. This is a quote by Amelia Earhart. And what this means to me is sometimes you can spend a lot of energy just trying to make a decision. But once you make a decision, there's a momentum and you can just keep going. And not that it's going to be easy, but I mean, it's just making that decision to act that puts things in motion. And then it's just reassuring that, once you've accomplished that, it's just about keeping going. But I actually have another closing thought about bugs.
Go ahead, Heidi. Give us the bug thought.
So there's no bugs in my house. There's no bugs in my car. Just because you live in Hawaii, you don't have to live with bugs. They are outside. There are cockroaches flying around outside in the bushes. And I mean, that's why you do have the pest control, but you don't have to think, there's going to be bugs crawling around your house if you live here. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, well said. I would agree if you follow the steps, right? You get the bug maintenance, folks that come out and spray the yard or whatever, or you do it yourself, like Dylan was saying. Keep your dishes washed. Do not leave. Follow. Trust me, Scott. You talk about lessons. You talk about lessons. That was that was one heck of a test. So yeah, clean up clean your food and do that, and you're gonna be. It's not that bad, but there will be bugs. They're outside. There will be bugs. They're outside, and if you live in a jungle area, you're gonna have a lot of them. Auntie Joyce, thank you for your beautiful comment. Happy Kamehameha Day to all. Mahalo to each of you for the joy you bring me. We're so happy that it's mutual. It's mutual. It's what makes this. It's like everybody kind of shown up. We're all having a good time, right? All right, I'm going to close with my note here. Of course, it's going to be Proverbs. Hey, how old are Proverbs? Can anyone want to Google that one? When was the book of Proverbs written? I'd like to know that. Here's one for me. All the days of the poor are hard, but a cheerful heart has a continual feast. And what that means to me is that it's really the cheerful heart that is the source of wealth. You could be poor or you could be rich, but a cheerful heart is a continual feast. That's where it's all about. It's all about being happy. And to me, that actually ties back in the economic lesson for Hawaii. Yeah, we're 48th in the country, 50th in the country for on some economic scale. And let's just give it the benefit of the doubt, say it's true. But at the same time, we're also the happiest place. Not Disneyland. We're the happiest place. We're the ones that there's a certain joy that you get here, and you can't buy that. And that's what Hawaii is all about. All right. Well, great folks. Great show again. Thank you all for making it great. Dylan and Heidi and Scott and everyone in the Ohana who's been a part of this. Jim's going to see us in 2 weeks. Jim, glad to have you back, buddy. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Let's say by clockwise. Dylan, then Heidi, then Scott. Say goodbye.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.
All right, folks. See y'all later. Have a great one. See you in 2 weeks. Have a great Kamehameha Day holiday weekend. Aloha.